It was March 26, 2003, and I always say it was a day like any other day. My kids were getting ready to go off to school. Tori was actually running a little bit late, and she finally was ready to head to the school bus, and she walked to the back door, and I heard her yell from the kitchen, "Mom, love you, see you, bye." And I asked her to wait. And I went to the back door, and I got a hug, a kiss, and an "I love you." And that was the last time that I ever got to hear Tori say those words, or that she ever got to put her arms around me. So we were sitting in the living room, and the windows and the doors were open. It was a really nice day, and I could hear the buses coming up the road. I could hear the crunch of the sand on the road where the kids were walking from school on the other side of the road. But from the backyard, I heard something, and it was a howl, and it sounded like an animal. But immediately I knew it wasn't an animal. I knew that it was my son. And I went running to the backyard, and I saw my son standing there, jumping up and down, and he was screaming. And he was saying, "She's been hit. Oh my God, she's been hit." I remember getting up and running out of the living room to the back door. I remember somehow flinging open the sliding doors, running down the deck, down the stairs, through the backyard, somehow jumped a fence, and just running in the direction where the kids came from the school bus. I remember seeing one pink and white sneaker in the road. I remember seeing another one. I remember seeing Tori's backpack until finally I saw Tori lying there. And it's a sight that you can never erase from your mind. Tori was laying there on the ground, face up. She was laying in a very unnatural position. She was twisted. There was so much blood. And it looked as though she had lost half of her face. I didn't know if she was breathing or not. I remember bending down next to her and trying to take her pulse to see if she was still with us. And on the way down, as I was going to reach for her wrist, she sighed. So I knew that she was still with us. I remember just saying, "Tori, stay, stay." The ripple of that day will never end. It is generational. Once we learned that Tori would survive, we also learned that she would never be the same. That's when they told us about the brain injury. And, so this little girl who was so thoughtful and caring and loving and who took care of others now had to be taken care of. It was so hard to see beyond the moment and to ever think that things could be different. But always what I kept trying to do was reference, even if it was just the month before, that, wait a minute, last month, this was harder to do. And I always kept trying to remind myself that there were so many other parents that didn't have the opportunity to do what I was doing. And so for that, I was grateful. And I did believe that with life, there was hope. A drunk driver took both my children because even though I still have them, neither of them are the people that they would be today. And I can't say that anymore. because in February, I lost my son. When someone chooses an action, we have no idea just how far that devastation will go. My son witnessed his sister being struck by a drunk driver 15 years ago. And it changes people. We're all affected tremendously by a tragedy. I have a granddaughter, and one of my reasons to get up every morning is to make sure that she knows her dad. One of the things people usually say is, what if? And what if is a question that I've never really asked myself. I think that is the most paralyzing question because it means you're waiting for something. I've always chosen to ask the question, what now? Because that means action, and that moves you forward. Prior to the crash, Tori was a world champion martial artist, and all of her time and energies outside of school was spent going to tournaments and practicing her craft. When she was younger, she used to also dance, and she missed dance. She missed the creativity of dance. And she had come to me, said, "Mom, I want to go back to dance." And I promised her that she would. And unfortunately, the crash came and I wasn't able to keep my promise. Well, fast forward to a fundraiser that I was doing for Mothers Against Drunk Driving. That was a Dancing with the Stars, and I was rehearsing, and I brought Tori into a ballroom studio with me. And this young woman who would sit with her head resting in the headrest as she's watching people dance around the ballroom floor is now engaged with her head up and following couples around the floor for 20 minutes. And I noticed this, and suddenly a mom's promise unfulfilled came back to me. And so I talked to the instructor, and he was this young man who was very enthusiastic, and he said, "I'll do it." And that began Tori's ballroom dance career.
3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2. Here's a corner, so hold on tight. Nice and tight. Tighter, tight, tight, tight.
A way for me to fulfill a promise to my daughter that I had made a long time ago and I never thought I would be able to keep.
1, 2, there you go. And here's a turn, all right? So we're gonna go around.
I am so blessed that I am able every single morning to be the first face that my daughter sees and be the last face that she sees before she goes to bed at night. You know, I also know how wonderful it is to be able to look into those eyes and have those eyes look back at me. I know such unconditional love, and that's amazing.